Hello traders, good afternoon. Today's time is 4:04 p.m. Today's date is 27th of September. So before I share my today's analysis, just to give you a quick disclaimer that trading involves substantial risk and you need to protect your capital. Also, the information which I'm sharing is for education purposes only. So let me quickly move to Nifty. And in today's episode, so I will share. So I had a couple of major technical issues faced, so I was not able to trade. But let me quickly start from the day time frame analysis. So currently, the auction is one time framing higher, which is a pretty good sign. Followed, where in last Friday we had this big spike, followed by so we had a good follow through, and now we are just in a 4 day balance. So it is pretty good sign for the buyers for the buying levels. Also, we need to see the 11,700 is where we'll be seeing some sort of resistance. But at the moment, we are just one time framing on the daily basis. Also, if you see, there is a lot of volatility so currently going on in the markets. So it's good. It's good. I think there is one more announcement. There's one press release going to come up today. So let's see what do we have. Now from the daily chart, this is the volume profile, and if you see, this is the HVN which I was monitoring, and here is the the VSSL signal, and this is what the 11,700 levels is what I was looking at. So what is happening? What is happening is if you look at the volume, so the overall, if you do a weekly profile, it will be more of a T shape, and so from last Friday to this Friday. But if you do a profile of only of this 5 days, it will be more of a balanced shape. One more thing to note here is the auction. If you see, it is just trading in a range, and the volumes today are pretty low. So the volumes are decreasing, and the volumes today are comparatively pretty low. So maybe the laggards are entering the markets, and so let's see whether we are able to find them on the market profile chart. So these were my monitoring references for today. So let me just shrink the chart a bit. So this was yesterday's profile. Sorry, this was yesterday's profile. So that was nothing but a big balance. So my monitoring reference for today's intraday trading were today's high, yes, yesterday's close, and yesterday's low. So today morning, I was actually lucky enough to be reach early to office. I reached by 9 a.m. So I was just closely looking, I was closely looking what is happening at this particular HVN level. So if you see, this is an HVN. Also, this was yesterday's close. Also, we have this prominent point of control. So I was just observing what is happening at this particular HVN. So this is today's open. This is today's open. So what happened is the auction open. So before my system crashed and the OS crashed, so I think around 9:15 when the market opened, I did have a trade plan. My trade plan was to look at where is the open. The open was above the yesterday's value area high, and what was happening is the price they just dropped. So initially it opened, and then the price auction just went down, and this was the monitoring reference. So this is where it did not reach there. Once the auction came around the yesterday's value area high or at this level, this is where I entered my longs. This is where I started. This is where I entered my long, keeping the target of yesterday's high. So this was a pretty good scalping or a fast trade which I achieved. I exited exactly at some level above yesterday's high. So that was one good trade location or one good trade which I had. After that, so around 9:35, when I was just updating my reports, I was just updating my Google Sheet wherein I made my trade entry and my journal entry. After updating that, my machine or my operating system, it just crashed. So I use two different machines. Currently the machine which you are seeing is only for the charting. It's nothing but it's a laptop. It's an Asus laptop. I bought it from Amazon. And this currently the machine which you are viewing, or this which is there on in front of your screen, is mainly used for the charting. But for trading, I use one more machine. So I also got one more desktop, and I take all my trades from the desktop, and I create all my reports and update all my websites and everything from the desktop. So what happened is, first the desktop, it just crashed, and then in the laptop I had this BIOS update and NT8 update. So I did both of this update. It asked for me to restart. I restarted my machine, and once I logged in, or I started the Ninja Trader 8, then I was getting the Bell TPO errors, that the indicators, the license, everything is expired. It was mainly because of the BIOS thing which has happened. So from 9:35 till 4 o'clock, I was doing nothing. I was just waiting. I was just looking at the normal candlestick chart, but I was not feeling confident at all. So I just closed my system and I was just focusing on other works. One thing is, I'd like to thanks to the Bell TPO team for their amazing support, and also personally thanks to Vinod for actually taking my problem in priority and solving this issue, because I was expecting this will be solved in 24 hours. And so thanks Vinod, thanks for helping a trader out, helping a retail trader out and solving his dilemma. So sorry guys, I went a bit off guard, off topic. This is what I did in my Nifty trade. Also, I was also targeting. So I was also looking at the VSA chart. So somewhere around here is where I entered, and this was the HVN which I was targeting. So this was a pretty good trade, and I exited. One more thing is, if you were monitoring this level, so we also got one more trade location where you could have taken a short trade with first target at the VWAP and second target at this particular HVN. So this was very good. So I think today, anyways, it was a sideways movement. It is still trading in a range bound market. So still there were pretty good trades. So we had this buying trade, we had this selling trade. So there were a lot of opportunities there. So it's just that you need to understand the overall context first, and based on that you need to take the trades. So that is what that is my analysis for the Nifty. Let me quickly go to the Bank Nifty charts. So in Bank Nifty, again, one thing to note here is volatility is pretty high, about 509 points. And also the auction is just trading in a balance, so there is no clear movement. Many emotional buyers, or short-term players, they are just entering and they are just shorting nakedly at the levels. So we as a retail trader, we don't have to do that. We just have to observe what is happening. So this is a 5-day balance. So we just need to monitor what is happening, and also we need to see whether this gap is getting filled or not. So today is more of an inside day in Bank Nifty, uh, and nothing much. There is no major movement. One more thing is, we are finding a sort of support at the HVN in the Bank Nifty charts. So if the auction is again, if it is getting rejected from here, then there is a good chance that it will be clearing this single print. And also we need to see whether this gap is getting filled. One more thing to note here is, same as Nifty, the volumes are decreasing. So today being Friday, pretty less volume, so that is an alarming sign. Let's quickly jump to the market profile chart. Uh, okay, so I think the chart is still loading. Let me just reload. Also, if you see, compared to the last 10 videos, today is the 11th episode. The skin would be the Ninja Trader 8 skin color would be slate black. Earlier I used a gradient skin, so this is much this is much clearer, much neater. Uh, I think let me quickly jump to Reliance and let the Bank Nifty chart load. So in Reliance, what I was monitoring is I was monitoring the 1300 levels and the 1260 or 1270 levels. So the reason why I was monitoring these levels is this was, so first of all, this is one time framing higher, and also there was a lot of mechanical selling happening at 1300 levels. So these were, so it was in a 60, sorry, it was not in a 60, but it was in a 25 point range, in which the auction was just trading. So I was just keeping a close eye, what is happening here. And if we look at the market profile chart, so I shared yesterday that this is the, this were my monitoring reference. So if we see any acceptance above, then just go with the flow. That is the one scenario. If we see a rejection, then just go against the flow and target the PFOX. So this was the, two trade potential auction paths or the two trade plans which I had in my mind. I was not able to again trade Reliance because I had this technical errors. So anyways, yeah, what can you say, technical errors. From VSA charts also, there was a clear indication of buying happening. So when we saw acceptance above, and if you see, it was just touching the VWAP and the prices were just going higher. So this was a good play in Reliance today. If you trade Reliance, then this was a pretty good day. Now let me quickly go through the crude oil chart. So crude oil, nothing is happening. Crude oil is just slowly, the auction is going down, and I think it has cleared the spike, the Saudi Aramco spike which happened. So today, so the emotional buying which happened because of the Saudi Aramco terror attack and at the oil fields. So all the emotional buying, it has now, the auction is clearly covered and it has come down. And now we need to monitor what is happening. So this is the HVN, and this is the last point of support. This is one more support area, and this is one more support area. So we just need to see what is happening at those areas. So let me quickly jump to the market profile chart, and we will just have a quick look at it. So this is what is happening in crude. So this is the yesterday's session or the US session, and this today currently it is the overnight session. So this is a point of reference which I was monitoring. Also yesterday, if you see, we had a double distribution in the overnight session. Plus we have a P shape, uh, and there is a sharp rejection. So I'm expecting to see more downfall, clearing this references, weaker references, so PFOC and the over lows. So let's see whether we see a continuation at this level, or else what we will be happening is we'll be seeing buyers coming in the US session, and then again the auction will move higher because this is what I have observed, and this is what been stated by Jim Dalton, that uh, overnight session, if the auction is in one direction, then so overnight session is nothing but the ETH is nothing but extended trading hours, and the US session is nothing but the RTH meaning real time, or real trading hours. So what happens is 68% of the time the auction in the RTH goes against the overnight session. So that is getting false in crude oil. So let me just collapse the chart, and let me just minimize this. So what is happening is the crude is just slowly and steadily, the auction is developing downwards to the lower side, and they're just planning to clear all this reference levels. But what should be your trade plan? You should not short at all. Just wait what is happening at this PFOC level. If there is a sort of rejection seen, then maybe you can just go against and target the overnight session high. So let me again zoom back my charts. So what I'll be monitoring in crude oil today will be this overnight session high and the overnight session low. So this is nothing but an emotional buying or emotional selling or a stop hunting activity, with a lot of stops being built here and built at these levels. So this is nothing but, so if you see right now, the auction went till 39.40 or 39.39, and again the buyers are stepping in. So just wait once we reach at this peacock level, so that is around 39.15 level something. So just wait what is happening at this levels. Just observe. If we see any sort of rejection, then maybe this will be a good potential auction path. Or else, if we see a clear rejection like this with a high tempo, then we'll be expecting to clear the weaker references or the references at the lower end. So let me just jump to, let's see whether the Bank Nifty chart. Okay, so it has not been loaded. So I think Nifty, I covered my Nifty. So Bank Nifty, I think I won't be able to cover it. But do see this, but do keep an eye. So what is happening? So because we have an inside bar, also there are very visual lows, back-to-back visual lows, or we can say higher lows. So we just need to see what is happening. So this is the inside bar, and this is a bigger balance. So we need to use the balance rules and see where the auction is developing, and also the volumes are pretty low. So that is the overall crux with what I can say from my Bank Nifty analysis. And with that, I would like to thank you. Thank you for your time. And please do subscribe to my channel. And I would like to thank again to the Bell TPO team for quickly solving my issues and basically helping me to be prepared for the Monday's trade auction. So with that, I would like to thank you all, and please do share your comments or feedback, and let me know whether the initiative which I'm doing, my post-market analysis live videos, are helping you in improving your market profile analysis or not, and whether I'm adding any value to your learning. So with that, I would like to thank you again, and see you Monday. On Monday is 29th of October, sorry, 30th of October. So also it's the last month of this last day of this month. So great. So let's okay. Thank you for stopping now. Bye for now. Take care.